So let's start at the beginning and talk about how to animate over time one of your layer styles, such as, one of your adjustment layers. I'm going to animate the one that is curves. Curves is what is controlling the overall contrast of my image. I've just turned off my curves layer and you can see that the image is a lot brighter. And curves has a mask that I've activated on it. And if you look at the thumbnail, you can see basically the center area is black, which is where I have the castle, and that's the area that's not being affected. So I'm going to animate that. First thing I need to do is to open up my timeline. I'm going to go up to Window and choose Timeline. And I just get this panel down here that really hasn't done anything yet. So I'm going to ask it to create video timeline. I just click on that button, and automatically what it did was it added every one of my layers in order onto its own timeline, and it comes out with 5 seconds, something about that. So the first thing is I'm going to ask you to make your videos at least 10 seconds long, because you're going to have 5 different things animate over that time. So I think it should be about 10 seconds long, and if you want it to be longer, you can. So I can just click and drag out any one of my layers, and it's going to, as you can see, I get a little pop-up window there that shows me what the end time is. I can just click and drag those out. And the layer that I'm going to work on first is the curves. So let's just finish this up. There are so many cool things that you can do with video in Photoshop, so we're just going to touch on a couple of little things here. So it's really just our introduction to it. So I'm working here on my curves layer, and what I want to do is click on the little side arrow, and that opens up all of the possibilities of what I could animate over time. I have something called position, opacity, style, and layer mask position, and they all have their own space on the timeline. So what I want to do is I'm here all the way at the beginning. This is my little scrubber up here, and I want to animate the opacity. So I'm clicking here at the beginning, and then I'm going to click on what looks like a little stopwatch where it says enable keyframe animation. And as soon as I clicked on that, first of all, I get another little icon here, which is my keyframe icon. I can use that from now on. And it puts on my timeline a keyframe. So a keyframe is an anchor point. And this means whenever I have an anchor point, I can change whatever I have here in my document area. So I can change the way my layer looks over here, and that's going to affect the change over here, and that gets recorded here. So I'm going to, while I'm on this keyframe, I want to make sure that that is the layer that's active. I'm going to go over to my curves, and I'm going to lower the opacity down to 0%. And now I'm going to take my scrubber, and I'm going to move over to 4 seconds, and I'm going to add a keyframe. I'm over here in opacity, and the key things to make sure are make sure you're on the right layer, and make sure you're in the right layer over here in your timeline as well. And now I'm going to go over to my opacity, and I'm going to change that and move it up to 40 some odd %. Same thing, move down a couple of seconds, I can click on either the stopwatch, or now I can click on that little icon for inserting keyframe. So these are the anchor points, and Photoshop is going to do what's called tweening in between. So I have an anchor point that says 0 and an anchor point that says 46 opacity. And this anchor point I'm going to raise up to 75% opacity. And then I will make my final anchor point a couple of seconds down, and that's when it's going to be at 100% opacity. So it's not going to play back as just 0, 46, 75, 100. Photoshop is going to tween in between, and that means it's going to insert all of these frames, giving it the number of opacity increase that would be needed to go from 0 to 46. So that's how you get a smooth transition. And now if I scrub through, you can see the end result. So it starts here, it's at 0%, and it's slowly getting darker. So now that I have my keyframes on here, if I want to make any adjustment, I say, well, actually I want it to start happening at 2 seconds and 4 seconds, and I'm just looking at my timeline up here to get a sense of 2 seconds, 4 seconds. And actually if I scrub, I get a little pop-up window that tells me. And then I want it to be completed by 6 seconds. And then for the rest from here to here, it's going to stay at 100% opacity. So I could just make that adjustment as well. So now it happens a little bit faster. And you could just keep going on and adjusting. Okay, so that's all you need to do for your first effect, is simply take one of your adjustment layers, and if you don't have one, which you really probably should have for your hyperreality, then go ahead and add one and open up. Again, to open this up, I just clicked on that arrow. Open up, go to your opacity, start at the very beginning, insert a keyframe by clicking on the stopwatch, make a change in the opacity of your adjustment layer, and then insert some more keyframes. And for each keyframe, make an adjustment in your opacity. So that's it for step 1.